For anybody who isn't really a non-Christian or is not familiar with the book, the LARPs there are pretty much entailing a Gnostic view of things, for sure. But essentially what it is commenting on a society. And so, in olden times, I mean, the whole symbology of it is like before Jesus, and even after Jesus, because Jesus is a big one, there were scapegoats. You know, essentially when somebody breaks enough rules and stuff, and you've determined that, hey, they are irredeemable, then they are sacrificed as a symbol of the sin, right? And so that is essentially what's happening in the modern day, but it's just people aren't as cautious about their Azazels because you don't kill them, right? You don't have that guilt waiting on you, so you aren't as concerned about proving this person's innocence, because you always, if you are setting up a scapegoat, should make sure that, one, the person's pretty dumb, and two, they're malicious, alright? Two things. Peace, right? I'll try to stop with the random connection bullshit, and stay on my point. But, so nowadays, since you're not literally killing somebody and just making them depressed and eventually kill themselves, it's not as guilt-trippy for you. And so that's why I say make sure it's funny, because when that person kills themselves and it comes out that, like, they didn't actually ever do anything and they were just mentally unstable, unless you're a complete monster and somebody who should probably have a lolcow thread of their own for being a sociopath, psychopath, or something like that, you should feel guilt. You know, you should be like, oh shit, I was wrong, and that person died because I was wrong. That's... because that's like the whole, it's like the whole thing. I do like this angle more. That's pretty much the whole thing of it, is like, you gotta think about who you're ragging on and who is taking the brunt of your joke. And that's why, like, publicly at least, a whole lot of people are more sympathetic to the Democratic Party, because their targets that they choose are rich and famous. And so you go, oh, why... that person, they were canceled, but I see that they have a television show, so it doesn't matter that they went through a whole bunch of turmoil and stress. But it still does. You know, it's like, here. I'm gonna use a timely example, which is Norm. Norm was battling cancer when he was canceled. He was canceled for a fucking joke. And need I remind most of you that you got onto this lolcow thread because you wanted to make a joke. I don't have cancer. Don't feel sympathy for me. My whole point is, nobody felt sympathy for Norm except for people that knew Norm, or knew that, hey, he's a jokey guy. He must be joking here. Like, but people who didn't know Norm, people who didn't understand him or his style of humor, hint, hint, they didn't listen. They just saw something out of context and they ran with it. So realistically, everybody who's participated in this thread, if they weren't in on the joke, should reevaluate themselves, because they're just being a Twitter mob. That's literally it. If somebody doesn't have anything that's really confirmed, you're just being a Twitter mob. What am I confirmed of? That there's a warrant out for my arrest? It's already been paid off. And even if it hasn't, it's a state thing, so if I was a huge douchebag, I could just never go into Minnesota again, and I'd be fucking fine. something that didn't show up, for example, that is why I was like, oh yay, I get to be a cop now, is an old drug charge that I thought would still be hanging around on my permanent record, you know? And so I didn't think I could be a cop. And that did bother me for a while. So that's also part of, like, why I got happy. But truthfully, yeah, no, that second hit to my head really helped out. It's just, that's not how repression works. It's not going to be instantaneously good. And also, when you are repressing things, it doesn't mean that you're completely out of it. Part of your brain's working. You know, it's, I don't know, it's fucking brain chemistry and chemicals and shit that goes, like, over my fucking head that I can, like, I can grasp the concept, but I can't explain it to you guys. And that's a lot of my shit. I'm very bad at explaining things. Especially if it's, like, pertaining to myself. I can understand it, and I can know how to work with it, but putting it into practice often can be a little bit harder. Which is why I'm not going, oh, haha, I'm the best ever. No, that's why I, you know, at every step of the term, every step, I've pretty much been like, no, I mean, Angry's smarter than I am. It's just... I'm betting she just isn't as self-sacrificial. And nobody should have to do what I did. You know, I'm not using this as like, oh man, I'm the best. No, what I did was stupid. But, like I said earlier, you know, it kind of looked like a setup for Chris. I get that he's done weird, fucked up shit in the past, but, like, honestly, with, like, how his mom is, that's where I was going there. Like, legitimately seems like his mom groomed him. And that his mom is why he keeps failing. Nobody ever separated him from Barb. You know, maybe if somebody did, things would have got better. That's part of my point. You know, when you get into a mindset, and you've already made your mind up about somebody, then that's all you're going to see. And you're going to miss a whole lot of clues. And, you know, I'm not saying, oh man, they let me in on stuff. I'm in the fucking dark, still. Even now. But that wasn't really the point of me ever doing anything. The point wasn't for me to know and get a whole bunch of clout and be like, oh, I'm the Kiwi Queen. I did joke back to Kami about that because she obviously cared so much about her title. Which, you know, she's posted a lot less, so, I mean, you guys kinda can figure out what happened. Squid's silly, but if he's not that guy that, like, wrote that weird, creepy fucking story and stalked Chris, like, I don't care. He's just some fucking dumbass simp. Leave him alone. Kinda. You know, I mean, leave him alone after you feel satisfied, but what I mean is try not to ruin his fucking life over him being a little bit too horny, if that's the case. Because he's stupid, and he's too much of a white knight, but, like, come on, guys. Who hasn't been a white knight before? Just teach him better. Unless, like, he genuinely fucked up, in which case, yeah, rake him over the coals as much as you want. But, to sum it up, that's a lot of the reasons why I used the biblical iconography, because it's a very old story. It's very easy allegory to go through, and it's something that, you know, once the cat's out of the bag, you can go back and look at, and you have other things to reference and stuff like that. That's also why I use so many memes. The timing of them always will be speaking towards something. But yeah, there we go. I hit 10 minutes. Wow, look at that. I am such a fucking YouTuber. I hate myself. Now I'm going to legitimately kill myself because I'm a what a world! I'm melting! There you go, there's the Final Fantasy boss noise!